What's up, y'all? It's Dr. Dixon, the math nerd, AI, I guess you could say tutor, AI coach, however you want to describe me. I'm here, to help you all out and give you a little bit of how I manage to control academic integrity inside of my classroom while utilizing artificial intelligence, specifically ChatGPT, as we all know they all lean towards. A 2024 Wiley survey actually showed that about 96% of professors reported that there was at least one AI assisted cheating situation that occurred. And let's be honest with you, when you leave a tool in a student hands and they feel like it's, fair reign, of course they're going to take advantage of it. But there's some ways around that. And I'm going to give you 3 easy hacks to kind of avoid that issue, but it will require a little bit more preparation on the instructors end up front. So the first thing I would highly recommend is putting in something called a light table. So, and this is inside of your syllabus, all right? So this is something that you'll probably want to talk to your department about, maybe your provost, whatever. Honestly, I would adopt it as a school. This isn't just one department. Remember, this is for any department. This table, red light, yellow light, green light, they'll talk about the uses and what is considered doable, what is considered not doable. So of course, green, the idea of it is their users are using it just for brainstorming ideas, grammar checks, to go through after everything's actually been written and, do basic touch ups to what students have already used. That's great usage of the actual bot. Yellow, that's where they're actually using the bot to draft it, and they're citing the actual bot itself. So as long as they cite it, that's perfectly fine. But again, they're responsible for everything that comes out of that bot. Now, red, that's where they actually let the bot answer everything for them completely. It doesn't really matter what it is. And so at that point, as long as in the syllabus, you could then implement, this idea of the red, yellow, and green lights. One Midwestern university actually saw just with that implementation alone, plagiarism decreased about 30%. So something to think about, nothing that, like I said, you fully got to implement, but it at least gives the student some type of idea of what's to come. The second step is really reevaluating how you actually teach. Instead of doing, a one and done type of assignment, flip it up a little bit, give checkpoints. We call them maybe process checkpoints, right? Where you're actually going to create that mind map first. After you create that mind map, then you're going to create an outline of the overall process of what you're doing. Then you actually create your draft. When that is actually done, they have something to actually show you. This then cuts out the idea of, okay, we're going to do all of this at one time and the shortcuts, right? At least, they're having to go through that actual process itself. So there was a pilot that actually was done that showed 42% fewer of the AI flag submissions because they were actually, using it to do little simple tweaks, if that makes sense. So these were actually green and yellow like issues at that point. So we actually show that the students and staff actually utilize their own brain power a little bit first before actually utilizing artificial intelligence or while using artificial intelligence in the entire process. Finally, what I did at the end of every class was actually had them reflect on actually what was done. They could either write it, however you decide to give that reflection. Talk about have the students or staff or whoever you're actually utilizing that's actually utilizing this system, talk about exactly, what they used, how they used it, if there was a certain output, what they did to actually adjust those outputs. Those things are very important so that way it not only allows you to see their thought process in its entirety, but it also allows you to brush up their tech skills. This is a skill set that you're going to need, well, we're actually going to need in the future regardless of what our thought process is when it comes down to artificial intelligence. So the idea of tuning that prompt in order to get that legit output is something that we can actually look at as well, because remember, it's not always about getting the answer correct. It's about the process that it takes for you to get there. That critical thinking skill that is developed in that reflection process is very important, not just for the classroom's sake, but for them to be able to implement it in future jobs. So I told you there are three different things, well, three things I would actually implement overall um, that could that could help with academic integrity, decrease the amount of cheating. That's the traffic light situation that you can place inside of your syllabus. After you do the traffic light table, you then do, a visible process of actually what's going throughout the actual assignment. And not only that, but then have them always give a reflection on what they did utilizing artificial intelligence. These things are very important in order for us to minimize and increase the thought process of students. So it also allows us to be a little bit more sane. It gives us a little bit more ease that the students are actually doing some of the work instead of just, throwing it into GPT and letting it do it for them. So overall, I think these things are something that can be implemented quite easily inside of the classroom. Sorry about the lawnmower. I don't know if y'all hear that. I'm in Augusta, Georgia, so sun has said it's been over 90 degrees. So yeah, but anyways, follow me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll paste that link inside of my bio. And DM me if you need any assistance with any of this stuff. I'm definitely available, and I'm here to not scare anyone, but here to actually educate people, so that way they're not so scared of the future of AI. So, peace.